Tesco has long been a national go-to, a household name where millions of Brits load up their carts every single week, expecting fair prices, trusted brands, and a sense of security with every purchase. But here's what most shoppers never see. Beneath those clean aisles and eye-catching discounts are hidden risks no one talks about. We're talking about products that have sparked emergency recalls, government investigations, and even deadly outcomes. From mislabeled allergens to a so-called freshly baked promise that was anything but. These aren't just disappointing purchases, they're silent traps that could end up costing you more than just your hard-earned money. And it all builds to item number 1, a sandwich so common it flew under the radar until it became part of one of the UK's most serious food safety scandals in recent memory. If you shop at Tesco, or know someone who does, this is the video you need to see before your next trip. Before we get into it, take 1 second to tap that like button. It helps this video reach more smart, value-driven shoppers like you. And if you care about protecting your wallet, your health, and your peace of mind, subscribe to Frugal Daily and turn on notifications. Every week, we uncover what's truly worth your money and what's absolutely not. Now, let's dive in. Here are 10 Tesco items you should never put in your cart. 10. Freshly baked bread. There's nothing more comforting than that warm, familiar smell of bread wafting through a supermarket aisle. It feels wholesome, nostalgic, even a little magical. It tricks your brain into thinking you're standing in a small-town bakery, about to take home something crafted with care. But at Tesco, that comforting scent is more illusion than reality. Because the truth is, many of these loaves labeled freshly baked were never baked fresh at all. They're pre-cooked in industrial factories, shipped frozen, and simply reheated in-store to release that tempting aroma. It's not fresh. It's not local. It's cleverly staged marketing, designed to make you believe you're buying real craftsmanship when you're actually getting a shortcut in a crusty disguise. And once you bring it home, the illusion crumbles fast. By the next morning, that loaf is often dry, tough, and missing the flavor and texture of true bakery bread. It doesn't toast well, it doesn't hold up in sandwiches, and worst of all, it doesn't justify the price tag. Here's the bottom line. You're paying for freshness, but what you're getting is convenience disguised as quality. If you care about real food, real flavor, and real value, your local bakery or even the store down the street will give you more for your money. Because no matter how warm the smell, Tesco's freshly baked bread just doesn't rise to the occasion. 9. Multipack chocolate bars, caramel and nougat. This wasn't just a disappointment, it set off alarms across the country. Tesco had to issue an urgent recall after it was discovered that some of their caramel and nougat multipack bars contained undeclared peanuts. For someone with a severe allergy, that's not just a labeling mistake. It's life-threatening. One bite could lead to anaphylaxis, an ambulance, or worse, all because of a failure that should never, ever happen at this scale. And even if you're not allergic, think about what that says. If a company can overlook something this critical, something that could literally put lives at risk, what else is being missed behind the scenes? We rely on labels not just for ingredients, but for trust. When a chocolate bar, something so simple, turns into a potential health hazard, it exposes a much deeper issue. Someone wasn't paying attention, and you're the one who pays the price. Here's the real problem. It wasn't just the allergic community that was put at risk. It was every shopper who believed the product was safe. And that's the scariest part. Because if peanuts made it in without warning, what's the next hidden ingredient that slips through? Sweet deals are everywhere, but some of them carry a bitter cost. So always check the recalls. Read the labels twice. And remember, when a company cuts corners on safety, it's not just an accident. It's a choice. And next time, that choice could involve you. 8. Tsukune chicken skewers. It sounds premium. Tsukune chicken skewers, a Japanese-inspired snack that feels upscale and ready to impress. But here's the problem. It made headlines not for its flavor, but for something far more frustrating. Tesco had to pull this product from shelves after it was discovered that the use-by dates were printed incorrectly, meaning shoppers were unknowingly buying chicken that could have already gone bad. And that's not just a health concern, it's a waste of your money. Think about it. You're paying full price for a product that might spoil the same day you bring it home. There's nothing frugal about that. When you spend your hard-earned cash on something marketed as fresh, you expect it to last at least a few days, not rot before you're ready to cook it. For a product with premium branding and an above-average price tag, that kind of oversight is inexcusable. You're not just risking your health, you're being overcharged for under-delivered quality. And once that trust breaks, you start to wonder how many other convenient, ready-to-eat items are hiding the same kind of shortcuts. In the end, it's not just about food safety. It's about whether you're actually getting what you paid for. 7. Packaged salads and leafy sandwiches. They look healthy, they feel convenient, and the packaging screams fresh. But in 2024, packaged salads and leafy sandwiches from Tesco found themselves at the center of a national food safety scare. A wave of E. coli cases swept across the UK, and these items were directly tied to the investigation. We're not talking mild discomfort. We're talking multiple hospitalizations and even loss of life. For many shoppers, what seemed like a smart, health-conscious choice became a dangerous one. But beyond the health risk, there's another issue. The value just isn't there. These pre-packed greens often come at a premium price, promising time-saving convenience. But what are you really getting? Wilted leaves, moisture buildup, short shelf life. And let's be honest, how many times have you opened one of these containers only to find the lettuce browning or slimy around the edges, sometimes within 24 hours of buying it? Here's the smarter move. Skip the overpriced plastic clamshells and grab a whole head of lettuce or fresh greens from the produce section. Wash it yourself. It takes minutes, and the payoff is huge. It lasts longer, tastes fresher, and costs less. You're not just avoiding bacteria, you're reclaiming your money from products that promise freshness but often deliver disappointment. Because when you buy something to be healthy and save time but you end up with waste and regret, that's not a shortcut. It's a setback. 6. Pre-sliced cooked beef. Sliced, sealed, and ready to go. That's the promise behind Tesco's pre-sliced cooked beef. It's marketed as quick, easy, and worth every penny for busy shoppers. But in 2024, that promise fell apart. Tesco was caught using incorrect expiry dates on this product, and not by a day or two, but in ways that left customers either throwing away perfectly good meat or, even worse, eating something already spoiled without knowing it. Now think about that for a second. You're paying extra for the convenience, a ready-to-eat protein, neatly packaged and labeled. But when that label becomes a guessing game, you're not buying peace of mind. You're buying confusion. And in the case of meat, that's a line no retailer should ever cross. You shouldn't have to second-guess every pack, sniff around for clues, or toss something early just to be safe. That's not convenience. That's stress you paid for. But the real damage goes deeper. If you can't trust the printed date on something as basic and as critical as cooked beef, what else is being mishandled behind the scenes? A product that was supposed to simplify your life ends up costing you time, money, and trust. And once that trust is gone, even the best deal on the shelf doesn't feel like a deal at all. 5. Tesco. Taramasalata. It's creamy, salty, tangy. And for many Brits, it's the kind of fridge essential that elevates everything from crackers to pita bread. Tesco's version had a loyal fan base. But in 2024, that loyalty ran into a wall. A mix of strikes, import issues, and supply chain chaos turned this once reliable favorite into a ghost on the shelf. Weeks went by with no stock, then months. And when it finally came back, something was off. Shoppers quickly noticed the difference. The texture was thinner. The flavor? Flat. And the price? Higher. What used to be a rich, indulgent dip suddenly tasted like a watered-down version of itself, with a best-before date that barely gave you time to enjoy it. People weren't just disappointed by the shortage, they were frustrated by what replaced it. A downgraded version dressed up in the same packaging. Same name, less value. That stings. And this raises a deeper issue. When a brand starts substituting quality for convenience or cutting corners during shortages, loyal customers are the ones who pay the price, literally. Paying more for a product that's now worse? That's not inflation. That's a bait and switch. And smart shoppers know, if it's not the same product anymore, it doesn't deserve the same loyalty or the same spot in your basket. 4. Tesco Finest Bakery Items. Tesco's Finest label promises luxury. You see that black packaging, the elevated font, the premium price, and naturally, you expect bakery items that taste like they came straight from a patisserie. But here's the reality. Don't let the word finest fool you. From all underbaked croissants to flavorless Danish pastries, what you often get is a bland, overpriced letdown wrapped in fancy branding. You're paying a premium, sometimes double what a regular item costs, for something that's supposed to feel indulgent. But more often than not, these pastries come out of the packaging with a rubbery texture, dry edges, and none of the rich, buttery flavor you were promised. What should have been a little moment of joy with your morning coffee ends up as a frustrating reminder that labels don't always match reality. And that's the heart of it. If the quality doesn't match the price, then it's not a luxury, it's a markup. There are better bakery splurges out there, whether at a local shop or even in competing grocery stores with fresher, flakier, more flavorful options. Tesco's finest should mean more than clever packaging. Because when you walk away with regret instead of satisfaction, that's not a treat, it's a trap. 3. Mislabeled products. This isn't just a single bad apple, it's a pattern that's been showing up again and again. In recent years, Tesco has issued multiple product recalls tied to one critical failure: wrong information on the label. We're talking about dairy-free items that secretly contain milk, meat with incorrect expiration dates, and packaging that misleads the very people counting on it to stay safe. And no, these aren't harmless mistakes. They're violations of the most basic trust between a store and its shoppers. When a product says safe for allergies but isn't, or says it's fresh until Friday but went bad on Wednesday, it doesn't just ruin your meal. It undermines your entire experience as a customer. Because if you can't trust the label, how can you trust anything else? How many products have you tossed early or consumed too late because of mistakes that shouldn't happen in the first place? At the end of the day, shoppers pay for clarity and peace of mind, not confusion and cover-ups. And when a brand fumbles something this basic, again and again, it's not just a red flag. It's a reminder to take your money somewhere it's respected. 2. Tesco. Own brand processed foods. Tesco's own brand processed meals come wrapped in bold value tags and budget-friendly prices, and on the surface, they seem like a smart choice for shoppers looking to save. But here's the truth. Sometimes low prices come with hidden costs you can't see until you take the first bite. Behind the convenience and bright packaging, you'll often find flavorless fillers, sky-high sodium levels, and ingredients you can barely pronounce. Again and again, customers report the same thing. These meals taste flat, artificial, and forgettable. They promise comfort food, but deliver disappointment, lacking the seasoning, texture, and satisfaction you'd expect even from a basic frozen dinner. Some are so overloaded with preservatives and stabilizers that they barely resemble real food. And when you're left tossing half of it in the bin, reheating something else, or grabbing takeaway out of frustration, what exactly did you save? Here's the bottom line. A cheap meal isn't a good deal if it ends up costing you twice. Once at checkout, and again when it fails to deliver. Because when every forkful feels like a compromise on flavor, nutrition, and value, you're not stretching your budget, you're lowering your standards. Smart shoppers know the difference. Saving money doesn't mean settling for mediocrity. Spending just a bit more on food that tastes good, satisfies you, and doesn't end up in the trash? That's how real savings actually work. 1. Chicken salad sandwiches. And here it is, the most shocking item on this entire list. Tesco's chicken salad sandwiches weren't just disappointing, they were dangerous. In 2024, these sandwiches were named directly in multiple lawsuits and health reports tied to one of the UK's most serious E. coli outbreaks in recent history. We're not talking about minor food issues. We're talking about people being hospitalized, permanently affected, even lives lost. And the worst part? These weren't obscure niche items. They were everyday grab-and-go lunches, picked up by busy shoppers who never imagined that something so ordinary could carry such a devastating risk. This wasn't just bad luck. It was a total failure in quality control, supply chain oversight, and consumer protection. And while shelves were restocked and statements were issued, the damage was already done, and the trust shattered. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about one sandwich. It's about what you're putting in your cart and who you're trusting with your health and your money. You deserve better than risky shortcuts, downgraded standards, or hidden dangers disguised as lunch. You deserve products made with care, sold with transparency, and backed by integrity, always. And if a brand can't guarantee that, they don't deserve a place in your basket. There you have it. 10 Tesco items that aren't just disappointing. They're simply not worth your money, your time, or your trust. Some might be surprising. Others, you've probably experienced yourself. But all of them prove one thing. A low price means nothing if the product lets you down. So let me ask you, have you ever bought something from Tesco that completely missed the mark? Maybe it spoiled too fast, tasted off, or just didn't live up to the label? Drop your story in the comments below. Your experience might be the reason someone else avoids the same mistake. And hey, if even one of these items saved you from wasting money or making a bad call, take a second to hit that like button. It helps this video reach more smart shoppers just like you. And don't forget, subscribe to Frugal Daily and turn on notifications so you never miss our weekly deep dives into what's truly worth buying and what's not. Until next time, stay smart, stay sharp, and as always, stay frugal.